You get paid on Friday morning, not rich, just enough to breathe for a second. You open your banking app. Before groceries, before gas, before rent, 3 little payments are already waiting there. Klarna, $31. Affirm, $42. Afterpay, $27. None of them is big enough to scare you. But together, they make your paycheck feel like it showed up already sliced up. And that is when buy now, pay later gets dangerous. Not because it makes the product cheaper, because it makes the debt feel smaller right when you decide to buy. If you have ever thought no interest means it is not really debt, hold on to that thought. Because the trap does not start on payday. It starts at checkout. Imagine you are on the checkout screen. A jacket costs $120. If the price just said $120, you might pause for a second. You might think about groceries, the electric bill, or that Target run last week that somehow got out of hand. But right under the price, there is a much softer line, 4 payments of $30. And suddenly, the decision does not feel like $120 anymore. It feels like $30 today. Almost like a DoorDash order with tip, almost like a small thing you can handle. But the jacket did not get cheaper. The pain of paying just got quieter. That is what price framing does. It lets your brain react to the smaller number instead of the full cost. In plain English, buy now, pay later does not sell you a cheaper price. It sells you a price that feels easier to swallow. And to understand why that feeling is so powerful, you have to look at what it does to the pain of paying. Every purchase has 2 feelings inside it. The feeling of getting the thing and the feeling of losing the money. You picture yourself wearing the jacket, opening the sneakers, using the new headphones on your commute. That first part is clear, close, and honestly, pretty satisfying. But the other side is the sting of spending. That little moment when you see the full price and ask yourself, should I really spend this much? Behavioral researchers often call this the pain of paying. It is not pain in the physical sense, but it is an important warning signal. Buy now, pay later does not delete that signal. It just turns the volume down. At checkout, the reward is right in front of you. The item almost feels like it is already yours. You just need to tap one more button. But the real money does not leave all at once. It gets split up, softened, and sent to a future version of you who is not there to object. That is why some people still feel like they are making a reasonable decision when they tap Pay in 4. In that moment, your brain is not feeling a $120 purchase. It is feeling $30 and a vague promise that the rest will somehow work itself out. In other words, buy now, pay later makes the reward in front of you louder and the future pain quieter. But that is only the first half of the trap. The second half does not show up at checkout. It shows up when those little promises start stacking on top of the same paycheck. One buy now, pay later plan by itself usually does not panic anyone. $28 here, $34 there, $41 for the sneakers, $19 for the thing you added to get free shipping. Each one sounds normal on its own. But your paycheck does not process them based on how you felt when you bought them. Your paycheck processes all of them at the same time, on a withdrawal schedule. That is when the trap changes shape. It is no longer, I bought one thing and split it into 4 payments. Now it is a calendar. Klarna pulls this week. Affirm pulls 2 days later. Afterpay pulls over the weekend. Then next week, the next round starts. Someone on Reddit once described how they started by using options that sounded safe. 0 down, 0% interest, payment windows that sounded manageable. But slowly, they began using them for things they needed, and things that probably could have waited. Then 1 month, Klarna and Affirm alone were taking about $2,000 out of a monthly income a little over $4,000. The scary part is not one purchase taking you down. The scary part is that no single purchase feels big enough to make you stop. And this is not some tiny corner of the market anymore. In CFPB, data, buy now, pay later has become hundreds of millions of loans a year. The Fed has also found that a meaningful share of users have paid late. That does not mean everyone who uses buy now, pay later is failing. It means that when enough small payments stack up, a lot of people start losing their rhythm. Buy now, pay later does not just split one purchase into 4 payments. It can split your next month into pieces that already belong to someone else. And at that point, the story is not just jackets, sneakers, or iPhone cases anymore. Buy now, pay later is moving into something much more sensitive, the things people actually need. When a dress is paid in installments, a lot of people call it shopping. When sneakers are paid in installments, they call it spending. But when groceries are paid in installments, the story starts to feel different because now, buy now, pay later is not only showing up for things people want, it is showing up for things people need to get through the week. Some people are not using Klarna or Pay in 4 because they want to live big. They are using it because it is Monday, they need food, payday is Friday, and the fridge does not care about your pay schedule. Some people use it at Walmart for groceries. Some use it for a DoorDash order after a long, exhausting workday. In that moment, buy now, pay later can feel like a small bridge across a few days of low cash. And that is why this video should not turn into a lecture about irresponsible consumers. If you have ever used buy now, pay later for essentials, that does not mean you are stupid or irresponsible. Sometimes it just means the month is already squeezed, and bills do not negotiate. But that bridge still has a toll, not always in interest. Sometimes the cost is that next month runs out of air sooner. A Fed note captured this feeling pretty well. For many users, buy now, pay later was the only way they could afford the purchase. And when a tool both genuinely helps you and makes debt feel less like debt, your brain can easily label it as budgeting. But budgeting is when you can clearly see where your money is going. Here, part of your future money is being pulled into the present to make today hurt a little less. The dangerous part is not that buy now, pay later is useless. The dangerous part is that it is useful at the exact moment you are most vulnerable. And this is the biggest misunderstanding. A lot of people do not think buy now, pay later is real debt because it does not look like debt. There is no scary APR, no minimum payment, no giant balance sitting on a credit card statement. Just 4 small payments that look clean, organized, and almost harmless. You might be thinking, if it is 0% interest and I pay on time, what is the problem? That is not a dumb question. It is actually a very reasonable one. It just only looks at one part of the problem. With buy now, pay later, the danger is not always the interest rate. Sometimes the danger is that you stop feeling like you are borrowing. If you already have the money, you track the payment, you do not have other plans running, and the purchase is actually necessary. Buy now, pay later can be just a tool. But if you are using it to turn I do not have enough today into I will figure it out next month, that is no longer just convenience. That is borrowing from your near future. No interest does not mean no cost. Sometimes the cost just gets pushed into your next paycheck. And the problem is that the interface makes responsibility look easier than it really is. It does not ask, how much room does next month actually have? It asks, can you handle the first payment? And that question leads to the more uncomfortable part. Buy now, pay later does not just change what you buy, it changes what affordable feels like in your head. But this still is not the most dangerous part. The most dangerous part is that after you use buy now, pay later a few times, your brain starts asking a different question. Before, when you saw a $200 purchase, the question was usually, can I actually afford this? That question stings a little, but it forces you to look at the whole budget. Rent, groceries, gas, credit cards, the savings goal that somehow gets pushed to next time every month. But with Pay in 4, the question quietly becomes, can I handle $50 today? And when the question changes, the decision changes. Because $200 might make you stop, but $50 sounds like something you can work around. It does not force you to see the whole picture. It gives you one small piece that feels easy enough to step over. This is what I call the affordability illusion. You are not really experiencing the full cost. You are experiencing the sliced up version of affordability. It is different from a coupon. A coupon lowers the price. Buy now, pay later lowers the psychological barrier. One makes your wallet lighter in a good way. The other can make your wallet think it is stronger than it is. And if you are tired, low on cash, or coming off one of those long days where your brain just wants a win, $50 today is probably fine. Can feel a lot stronger than is $200. Total actually reasonable? That is why buy now, pay later does not just change how you pay. It can change the standard your brain uses for what you can afford. And when that standard gets stretched again and again, the consequence is not only overspending. Sometimes it is a very specific kind of exhaustion, paying every month for decisions that stopped feeling exciting a long time ago. And that is one of the most unpleasant feelings with buy now, pay later. You can still be paying for something after the desire for it has already disappeared. At the time, it all made sense. You needed a dress for a formal event, shoes for a weekend trip, a skincare product on sale, new headphones because the old ones were starting to fail. You told yourself, I just need a little flexibility for a few weeks. I will handle it later. But a few weeks later, the feeling has cooled off. The box is open. The item is sitting in your closet. Maybe you even returned it, or you do not like it as much anymore. But the payment still arrives on schedule. The joy of buying has a short shelf life. The payment, though, shows up right on time. That is when buy now, pay later creates a very specific kind of tired, not the tired that comes from one huge bill. The tired that comes from every payday having a few little charges that remind you of old decisions. Decisions that once came with dopamine, but now only come with a withdrawal schedule. And if there is a problem with the order, it feels even worse. The item never arrived. The item was not what you expected. The refund is unclear. But the payment schedule is still running in the background. So is the solution to delete every app, swear off buy now, pay later forever, and rely on pure willpower? That sounds strong, but it is usually the kind of advice that fails exactly when you need it most. The solution is not to shame yourself every time you see the Pay in 4 button. It is also not to promise that from now on, you will become a completely different person who never impulse buys again. That sounds powerful, but it usually collapses when you are tired, hungry, stressed, or coming off a long workday. You do not need more guilt. You need the right kind of friction. There are 3 simple rules. Rule 1, name the real full price. Not $30 per payment. Say, this is a $120 jacket, not $55 today. Say, this is a $220 concert ticket. If you are not willing to call it by the full price, do not let the app call it something smaller for you. Rule 2, cap the number of plans running at the same time. 1 plan can be a tool. 2 plans deserve attention. A 3rd plan has to wait. Not because you are weak, but because stacking is what squeezes payday. 1 payment plan is a schedule. Too many payment plans become a net. Rule 3, preview payday. Before your paycheck hits, open Klarna, Affirm, Afterpay, or whatever app you use, and add up how much will be pulled in the next 2 weeks. Just look at the number once. Do not wait until payday to find out your money already has owners. And if you have to use buy now, pay later for groceries or essentials, do not turn that into shame. Treat it as a signal, not a signal that you failed, but a signal that your cash flow system is running out of air. In that moment, the move is not to open another plan for something non-essential. The move is to stop next month from getting squeezed even harder. The goal is not to become perfect. The goal is to slow the impulse decision down by 1 beat, long enough for your brain to see the full cost. Because in the end, the question is not, is buy now, pay later bad? The question is it helping you buy something you already decided on, or is it deciding for you by making the numbers look smaller? Buy now, pay later is not always a disaster. Some people use it well. Some people use it to get through a hard week. Some people never pay late. But that does not make it harmless. Because sometimes the most dangerous debt is not the debt with the highest interest rate. It is the debt that does not make you feel like you are borrowing. It enters your life quietly. 1 $30 payment, 1 Pay in 4 button, 1 promise that next month will be better. But if you do not look at it through the full price, next month can become the place where today sends the decisions it did not want to fully feel. So the next time you are about to tap that button, do not only ask, can I handle the first payment? Ask, do I want this purchase to claim part of next month? If you have ever had a Pay in 4 purchase that looked small at checkout but hurt on payday, comment 1 word: stacking, just so someone else knows they are not the only one. And in the next video, I want to talk about a trap that is even more uncomfortable because it does not look irresponsible. It looks mature. You pay your bills on time. You have a steady job. You might even contribute to a 401k. On paper, it looks like you are doing the right things. But the question is, if 1 job loss, 1 medical bill, or 1 emergency month shows up, does your system actually protect you? Because you can be responsible and still not be safe.